That day, it poured relentlessly, as if the sky already knew what would unfold. An old delivery truck pulled to the curb in front of a sleek new office building. The company's LED sign sparkled proudly. Nexora, the year's most disruptive tech startup. From the driver's seat, a middle-aged man stepped out. His jacket was muddy, and his cap was pulled low. He wiped the rain from his eyes, lifted a delivery box, and walked into the lobby with his head down. No one paid him any attention. They were far too caught up in the extravagant launch ceremony, fresh flowers, cameras flashing, a celebrity MC, thunderous applause, and smug laughter. No one knew the drenched delivery man was the company's valid owner. And today, he wasn't here to deliver a package. He had come to expose the man who betrayed him, the one who had stolen the company from under him, and now stood on stage wearing the title of CEO. People love judging others by appearance, he thought. Well then, today, I'll let them unmask themselves. The man stepped into the lobby, polished marble floors, the scent of expensive perfume, and LED lights making everything look like a scene from a movie. He clutched the package like a stranger. The security guard glanced past him without a word. The young receptionist, glued to her phone and chewing gum, muttered without looking up. Logistics office, 3rd floor. Take a right, end of the hallway. No one knew who he was. No one recognized his face. In truth, no one had ever really seen him. 10 years ago, on this very same plot of land back when it was just a shabby rental office, Liam, the man now carrying the box, had started a dream from nothing alongside his best friend, Jason. They had written every line of code together, stayed up all night pitching investors, and suffered rejection after rejection until their tiny startup finally caught a break and soared like a rocket. Until the day Jason betrayed him. Through a calculated scheme, Jason forged documents, manipulated legal loopholes, and pushed Liam out of the board of directors, all while Liam lay unconscious in a hospital bed after a car accident. And then everything was gone. Liam woke up not just with broken ribs, but with a trust shattered deep in his core. For 3 years, he disappeared from every social network, withdrew, silent. People whispered that he had died. Others said he'd moved to Thailand to do charity work. Only one thing was true: he never gave up. Last month, a German investment group, the company's largest shareholder, secretly contacted Liam. They had grown suspicious of Jason's involvement in several questionable financial deals. They wanted confirmation, and they needed the one person who knew Jason better than anyone. Liam replied with just one sentence: "I'll return. But this time, I don't need to stand on stage. I just need to see his face when every mask comes off." And today was that day. While the ceremonial ribbon from the scissors was still warm, Liam stood silently in the corner of the supply room, peering through the glass window. On the stage outside, Jason was addressing the press. Nexora is the product of vision, resilience, and a heart that dares to dream big. Liam's chest tightened. Those words were once his slogan, and the man saying them now was the one who stole everything. Liam clenched his fists as Jason's voice echoed through the hall. "We started in a tiny office 5 years ago, just 3 of us. Me, Lauror CMO, and Daniel, our current CFO. Those were real sleepless nights, but we never gave up." Liam froze. 3 people? Laura? Daniel? What about him? A sharp pain shot through his chest. Before him was a massive LED screen playing a fast-paced montage. The company's growth milestones. The first office, the product demo, the moment they landed their Series A investment, but in all those frames, she was nowhere to be seen. Not a single photo, not one mention of his name. A young employee standing next to Liam whispered, "Our CEO is amazing. Built this whole company from scratch." That sentence cut through Liam like a slow blade slicing through memory. The sleepless nights, the very first emails sent to investors, the times Liam had to call his parents begging for $500 just to cover a developer's salary. All of it, replaced by polished lies. Liam quietly made his way up to the executive wing's 5th floor. No one noticed a delivery man carrying a box upstairs. They simply assumed he was with a supplier. The elevator doors slid open, and standing inside was Jason. Holding a fancy cup of coffee, staring down at his phone, Jason didn't look up. Just before the doors closed, a soft voice broke the silence. "Watch your shadow, Jason." Jason looked up and froze. The coffee nearly slipped from his hand. His eyes darted, flickering like he'd just seen a ghost. Liam gave a cold smile. "The kind you wait a lifetime to wear." Jason stammered. "Liam? What? What are you doing here?" Liam didn't answer. He simply pressed the button for floor 6, the strategic boardroom. Jason panicked. "Wait. You can't go up there. That's the emergency board meeting?" Liam cut him off. "I know. I was invited." Jason fell silent. His blinking sped up as if his brain was scrambling to understand what was happening. The doors opened. Around the oval table sat the most powerful people in the company. Representatives from the German holding firm, key shareholders, and lawyers. Jason walked in behind Liam, beads of sweat forming on his brow. "Shall we begin?" A German voice asked calmly. "Mr. Liam, did you bring the evidence we requested?" Liam set the delivery box on the table. But instead of documents, he pulled out a hard drive. "This contains every email, legal file, and the original meeting recording the one where Jason and Laura conspired to remove me from the company through deception." Silence filled the room. A bespectacled lawyer opened a laptop and plugged in the drive. On the big screen, "Recording board meeting. The 17th of April, 2020. Jason jolted to his feet. "No, none of that is legally admissible. He's the one who resigned." Liam turned to face him, steady and calm. "I never signed a resignation, and you know it." A woman's voice cut in one of the investment board members. "Effective immediately, Mr. Jason is suspended from all executive powers. All allegations will be formally investigated. And," she turned to Liam, "we'd like you to serve as interim CEO until this matter is fully resolved." The main hall, once buzzing with grand opening lights and flattering speeches just hours ago, was now silent, as if the entire building was holding its breath. The man standing on stage was no longer Jason, the recently suspended CEO. It was Liam, wearing a plain button-down shirt. No suit, no tie, no rehearsed script, just him and the truth that had finally come to light. Liam began, his voice calm and steady. 3 years ago, I was the one who wrote the very first line of code for the product this company is built on. I once slept in this office back when it was just a leaky garage with damp walls and the smell of mildew. Back then, I didn't dream I'd be standing here today. I just hoped I could build something useful." The room remained silent. Liam looked down at the young employees, many of whom had never heard his name. "Some of you may be wondering, who is this guy? Why is a delivery man standing here? I came here today not to reclaim my reputation. I came to remind you of who helped build this company and who tried to erase that." His eyes sparkled, not with anger but with something softer. "I don't blame you. Because sometimes, betrayal comes from the person you trusted the most." A faint whisper came from the back row. "Jason." Liam paused momentarily, then pulled a small USB stick from his pocket. "I want to show you something." He plugged it in. The screen behind him lit up, playing a video recorded 8 years earlier. Scene: 3 young men standing before a whiteboard covered in code and funding plans. Liam was in the center, the one leading. "If we follow this plan, we'll hit our Series A in 12 months. The footage cuts to clips of Liam working through the night, asleep at the keyboard, and finally helping Jason tweak a pitch deck, the same one Jason would later use to take all the glory. The entire hall was silent. I didn't come back to be a hero. I returned because I don't want anyone else to be erased the way I was." Someone stood up and applauded. Then another. Then a third. Soon, The room erupted into thunderous applause. But it wasn't for lights, champagne, or PR this time. It was for truth, for loyalty betrayed, and for a man who returned not for revenge, but to make things right. As Liam stepped away from the microphone, he smiled gently. I'm sure this video will end up online, and if someone out there is watching, subscribe to our channel. Because from now on, you won't just hear about tech stories, you'll hear stories of people, of trust, and of truth. The lights slowly dimmed, but the hearts in the room stayed lit because they had just witnessed the return of a man once betrayed. Stepping into the light, not for vengeance, but for a new beginning,